wife and I started Jericho Road back in 1997, and at the time it was just a little part of this building that you're sitting in now. We had to get money from a bank to start the place. It was a private business, but our goal was really to serve those who needed healthcare the most. First week we saw 3 patients. Today, now, 20 years later, we've grown tremendously. We have 28 doctors, nurse practitioners, pharmacists, counselors here. Every year we take care of about 17,000 different patients, and we see those patients 60,000 times. So if you think about Jericho Road today, sees over 60,000 patient visits a year. Every year we take care of about 17,000 different patients, and we see those patients 60,000 times. So if you think about Jericho Road today, sees over 60,000 patient visits a year. When we started 20 years ago, there weren't refugees here in Buffalo, at least not very many. But over the last 20 years, the world has come to Buffalo. And so now over half of our patients at Jericho Road are people who came as refugees. And over half of our patients don't speak English.
20 years ago, I was 1,000 miles away from here. Actually, I was in my second year of law school when Jericho Road started. With no plan, no clue, I'll be here this evening celebrating the 20 years anniversary of Jericho Road. I'm privileged, and God is faithful.
Recent thing we've done, about 5 years ago, we started following our friends back home to their countries. And so we now have a fully functional hospital or health center in Sierra Leone that's led by Fabian Abdullah, who came here as a refugee in 2001 and went back to her country to start a healthcare center, and we support her and help her operate that. And last year we opened a health center in Goma in Eastern Congo.
Whether it's Fabian leading in Sierra Leone or a new doctor joining us here in Buffalo.
The biggest challenge was to make it work financially. Having a vision to provide health care that's good, excellent care in an area of the city that's underserved and has a lot of uninsured people and people that struggle to pay for their care. To do that full time in this setting, that was a huge challenge. It was a big sacrifice. Based on our faith and our diversity, we have Muslim friends here who work with us. This has been a really tough year, the whole election and the talk about bans on Muslims and bans on refugees and the rhetoric that was so hateful, the racial underlying tones, has been very disappointing, and the results of the election were pretty devastating to our team. I think there's been some ways, of course, that it's affected us. We do the initial refugee assessments, health assessments for many of the new refugees that come to Buffalo. This is the first time in 20 years that I have no new refugees to see. Usually this time of the year we're busy. We don't have room to put everyone. And this year, my refugee clinic is empty. The current president is threatening to decrease the number of new refugees in this coming fiscal year to 15,000. The prior president had 110,000. So that's had real impact.
Or advocate for Jericho Road in some way. All of that God has used to
Jericho Road is still strong, but this past year has been difficult. We sometimes get people that hate on us because we take care of the refugee. We have to deal with that, threatening letters, that kind of thing. But God is faithful, and God sees the work that we're doing here, and so I don't lose sleep over that. work, I'd love to see us continue to grow. Like personally, I'm very invested in that. I feel like here in Buffalo, we have Jericho Road now has a lot of good young leaders, people who are coming up through the ranks who could take my place here in Buffalo. And so I think that me personally, the next 20 years, I see more and more of a focus on two things. One is growing our global work, really getting that to a sustainable place. And the other, for me personally, is being more and more involved in advocacy. I want to see, in some ways we've created a unique system at Jericho Road in terms of how we take care of people. I want to see that system I want to see refugees treated well across the city of Buffalo, not just at Jericho Road, right? And I'd love to see our national healthcare system be more just and fair.
Having a good system of translation, have them not feel like they're all alone.